Hey there, it's Crissy Keye Rollins here. If you are new to this video series, I've been taking you on a deep dive into understanding the creative process so that you can feel fully equipped to create whatever you desire in life. In today's video, I'm sharing with you an aspect that is present every single time that you create anything. This can be an artistic endeavor, a sales pitch for an offering, changes within your physical body, or even building an entirely new life for yourself. Once your eyes are open to this step, you will be able to relax more fully into the process and increase your odds of follow through no matter what you create. Plus, I'm going to walk you through the simple and rewarding creative process of making your own homegrown sprouts, which are packed full of nutrients, have a milder flavor than full-grown green vegetables, and are a great way to work more of what your body and mind need into your current diet and lifestyle for yourself and your family. So be sure to stick around for that after my quick chat, and let's get started. Becoming aware of the insights that I'm sharing throughout this video series will help you to overcome challenges and limitations that have been holding you back so that you can ditch the excuses and show up in life with confidence and clarity. If you want early access to these videos, you can join the community that I am building over on Patreon. Find out more at bit.ly holistic support. And right now is the perfect time to join because when you join or up-level your membership, you'll receive a free one-on-one breakthrough session with me, giving you the space to connect to what your best next step is toward creating the life that you desire. Okay, so today's step of the creative process is one that is unavoidable, and you will find yourself encountering it over and over again along your life's journey. The beautiful thing about understanding this process is that it allows you to free yourself of self-judgments, criticisms, worries, doubts, and fears that all come up throughout your creative process and often stop you in your tracks before you get a chance to bring your desire to full fruition. To best understand this step, let's take a simple everyday example to help to explain it. And let's look at the creation process behind satisfying hunger. When you feel yourself get hungry, or you notice that the time of day is approaching the time that you typically get hungry, you do not instantly have food appear before you, simply because it is that time, or that you realized it, or that you felt yourself giving off those hunger signals. You also, more often than not, do not go into a panic just because you realize that you're hungry and there's not any food instantaneously around. More likely, you easily shift into a relaxed approach toward creating a meal for you to eat. The next time that you find yourself ready to manifest a meal for yourself, especially when you have a certain craving, consider that the desire of wanting your next meal is a sign that the next meal is wanting you. That the taste that you have for a certain food experience is actually a preview of your future self enjoying that very meal. You want what you want because energetically speaking, it's already connected to you. It's already a reality in energetic form that is calling you home, showing you the path that will lead you to your inevitable destiny. Because you have this energetic connection to your future self, it can feel like you should be there already, that it should have been already received, or that you somehow messed up the process. I'm here to tell you that when you expand your perspective and understand how things go from the non-physical desire to the full manifestation into your physical reality, you can take a deep breath, surrender to the process, and better align your energy with your future having, which is just over the horizon. When what you want has not shown up yet, it's not a sign to throw in the towel and give up hope. It's not a sign that you're ill-equipped or lacking. It's not a sign that it will never happen. Life always brings you exactly what you desire or what is needed in order for you to have what it is that you desire. And no matter which one is on its way to you, you will have to spend at least a little time waiting for it to arrive. This waiting period accompanies everything you create, from the most minor and seemingly insignificant creations to the really big, audacious ones. Now that you're aware of it, the next time it seems like what you want is never going to be realized, you can remember this conversation. Surrender your worries over to the process and trust that you are simply in the lag time between the energetic and the physical manifestation you desire to experience. I actually have a few more tips on what to do with yourself during this waiting period that I'm going to be sharing in my second quarterly workshop of the year, which is going to be happening on Saturday, June the 25th. During this workshop, I'm sharing a conscious success formula that guides you through every step of the manifestation process, giving you a full overview of what to expect no matter what you are creating in your life. Plus, you'll walk away from this workshop with a repeatable recipe for success that you can consciously apply to every area of your life. This success formula is effective when you apply it to your business or finances, to your family and relationships, and also to your physical body and overall health and well-being. If you're interested in finding out more about this workshop, then be sure to visit the link below for more details and to secure your seat today. This workshop series is one of the many bonuses members of my community receive when they join at the tier 2 or above level. So if you want to gain free access to this entire series, including the workshop we just had last month and the remaining 2 on deck for 2022, then go visit holisticrestoration.com/success formula after you finish viewing this video. And if you want to spend some of your wait time growing power pack nutrition that is quick and easy and great for the whole family, stick around for the homegrown sprout tutorial because that's what I'm going to show you now. Okay, so there's lots of reasons why I like to grow sprouts. 1, they are very easy to do. 2, they grow very quickly. So there's like an instant or nearly instant gratification that goes along with it. 3, they are super packed with some of the best nutrients that can fuel your body, your mind, your spirit, your energy, your mindset, your focus. They just blend well into nearly every meal. You can add them to sandwiches, you can add them to salads, you can mix them into pasta dishes, you can put them on top of anything. And I know that because I do. I put them on top of nearly every single meal that we have, anytime that we have some to harvest. And I'm super excited to share how simple and easy and satisfying and abundant getting into growing your own sprouts can be. So there are a few things that you will need. You can keep this super simple and I'll show you how to do that, or you can get it a little bit more advanced if you want to go that route. Don't be intimidated, just give it a go and chances are it's going to turn out favorable for you if you follow the steps that I'm going to share with you. So first and foremost, you're going to need a jar. This is a quart-sized mason jar, and I use the ones with the wide mouth because they fit the lids that I use in order to grow my sprouts. You can use the smaller ones, that doesn't really matter. Basically, all that you need is a glass container that will allow you to put some kind of cover over it that is still breathable. You want air going into your sprouts, but to make it super easy, it's great if you can drain any water and rinsing out without losing your seeds. How do you do that? You can do it in a couple of ways. One of the things that I like to use is this sprouting lid that fits on a mason jar. This one has a screen, a fine mesh screen, so I can run water into it and I can pour water out of the jar without losing any of the tiny seeds that I'm using to grow sprouts. This one has little raised feet on it so that once it is on the jar, I can turn it upside down and allow for extra drainage as it sits and drains itself out, which is a really great feature to have. Absolutely not necessary. I grew mini sprouts without a lid like this and used one that was without the feet, but also made with these little holes in it so that you can drain the seeds out easily. This set came with a smaller hole one for when you get started and a larger hole one for once the sprouts actually sprout and you don't have to worry about the little seeds slipping through the bigger holes. If you don't have lids and you're not in a position to find some and buy some for yourself, you can use just a mason jar lid and poke your own holes. I will say make them as small as possible, add many of them so there can be lots of breathing and that it's easier to drain out the water. It just might be a little bit challenging to do because these seeds are so small and they easily will slip through holes if you don't have a fine mesh. You could also, and in a pinch, I have been known to use a mesh strainer like one of these to put over the lid and drain off the water and still be able to capture the seeds, but it's kind of hard to scrape the seeds off the screen afterwards, which is why I went ahead when I found that I was going to be doing this on a regular basis. I went ahead and invested in a set of these, came in like a 4-pack, and now I can make several jars at one time, super easy peasy. And as long as it stays simple, I'll do it consistently. Once it gets too complex, it takes up too much time, a little too much energy from me, then I tend to set it to the side. So I like keeping things super simple, super efficient. Once you have a container and a lid to use, then you are going to need some sprout seeds. Now there's lots out there. There's no particular brand that I'm here to say is better than the next. I do look for organic whenever possible, and I'll share with you some of my favorite ones to grow. Mung beans is one of my favorite sprouts to grow. These are often found in Asian dishes. They have kind of a thicker stalk to them or thicker root to them. So they're a little bit juicier, sweet, don't have a super duper green taste to them. So if you're someone who really doesn't like greens, this could be a great place for you to start. Also, another one that's great to start with, and I think this is the one that I'm going to get started today, is red clover. Red clover. They have a sweeter taste. They're not as green. They're great on sandwiches, salads. You can mix them into anything. And speaking of salads and sandwiches, I have two different mixes that we make all the time here in our house. One's a salad mix, one's a sandwich mix, and they just are a mixture of different seeds, alfalfa, some radish, broccoli, kale, all mixed together. And you can just do broccoli by itself. If you are a fan of broccoli, but maybe your family isn't such a fan of it, broccoli sprouts is a really great way to go. They're a little bit milder. They definitely have that broccoli kind of essence to them. They're great for mixing into soups. Again, great for sandwiches, salads. You really can't go wrong with them. So once you have your seeds picked out, oh, you can also do peas if you want to do peas. And let me just say, the bigger the seed, the bigger the scoop that you're going to add into your jar. I'm going to start with the red clovers today for the demonstration purpose, because that's the next one that I want to get started. And you'll see the seeds are super duper tiny. So you'll measure them a little bit differently. So the fewer the seeds that fit into the cup, the bigger the scoops that you're going to use. So instead of just using 1 tablespoon, which I often do for a smaller, more pint-sized jar, then we can go with 2 tablespoons if we're doing a bigger size jar like this one, if you're doing peas. Now for the red clover, I'm going to stick with just 1 tablespoon. And if you only have a teaspoon to use for measuring, it's okay. Just use 3 teaspoons for every 1 tablespoon, and the equation should work out just fine. The other thing that you're going to need to get your seeds started is some water. I like to use filtered water whenever I am starting my seeds out, but then as I continue to take care of those seeds and rinse them, as you'll see in the steps today, then I just use regular running clean cold tap water in order to rinse my seeds off. So once you have your supplies, you've got a jar, you've got a lid with some holes for easy drainage and air coming in, you've got the seeds that you want to make, you've got a measurer for your seeds, then you're ready to go. And it's as simple as this. You're going to measure out 1 tablespoon of seeds, and you're going to add that into your jar. Again, bigger the seed, like a pea or maybe some sunflowers. Yeah, you can do sunflower greens as well. Then you might want to do a little bit more. I'm just going to stick with 1 just to be safe. I don't want to overcrowd my sprouts. You'll see that as they grow, they get really, really bunched up, and I'll make sure that I add some pictures to this video so you can see that too. But just measure out a tablespoon, and these seeds are tiny, y'all. I don't know how big they are. Oh, I don't have that many, so I'm actually going to pour in the rest of them. So if I were to level this out, it probably would be exactly 1 tablespoon. But as you can see, these are tiny little seeds, and I'm just going to put them here into the jar like so. And then you want to cover the seeds with 3 times the amount of height. So these are very small. They're just going to go right across the bottom. So I don't need to add too much water to them. We just want to make sure that they're good and covered. And you want to do more than just cover the surface top of them. You want to add a little bit more water than that. So 3 times the amount of seeds that you have down at the bottom, because as the seeds take in the water, they're going to expand, and you want to make sure that there is ample water to get those seeds nice and germinated. I've got my water here. I'm going to go ahead and top those seeds off, and that is plenty right there. As you can see, I have got far more height of water than I do the seeds down at the bottom, and this is perfect. This is the first step, and this first step takes about 8 to 12 hours. For the first 8 to 12 hours, all that you need to do is let these beautiful seeds soak. So you can go ahead and put them in the jar that you're going to grow them in. That's what I do. If you want to soak them in a separate dish, you can totally do that and then just add them to the jar after they are soaked. I like to soak them in the jar so that when I am done soaking after that 8 to 10 hours, I can just pour this upside down, pour the water out, drain off the seeds, and then they are good to go. Now, once your seeds are finished soaking, you're going to pour the water off and then set it in a indirect sunny spot or out of the light altogether. Now, why do I say indirect light? Because if you put them in a cabinet, if you cover them up, you may forget about them, especially if you are not accustomed to doing sprouts and taking care of them. You're going to have to tend to these twice a day, every day, until they are complete. And once they are fully grown, then you can put them in the refrigerator. But in the meantime, in that 3 to 6 days that they are growing to their full size. Yeah, that's right. 3 to 6 days. That's all that it takes. You don't have to wait 3 months for a whole head of lettuce. You can just start some seeds, and within a couple of days, you will start to see them sprout and change. Now, these seeds, we got started. This is the sandwich mix. We got these started, let's see, about 48 hours ago. We soaked the seeds on Saturday evening. This is now Monday evening. So we drained them off probably around 9-10 o'clock in the evening on Saturday, and as you can see, they are already starting to sprout. You can see these little white hairs start to show up. They almost look like little noodles or little worms, but they will start to pop out of the jar. Maybe you can even see them better on the bottom. You see that? This is after 48 hours. This is like including the soak time. Then we drained off the water, and now this is where we're at. We've done 2 days of rinsing. Now you're gonna rinse them twice a day. I just make sure that they're good and covered. I give them a little swirl of the water because as they start to grow, you see they'll get all entangled. And I just wanna make sure everything gets thoroughly rinsed. Drain off the water. If you've got nice little feet like this, you can totally just set it upside down and let it drain completely, or just pour off the water and you're good to go. Because again, I made these lots of times before I got these tops with the little feet on them. You can put either a towel around them or slip a koozie over the jar, and then that will cut out some of the light from getting in. Seeds like dark spots in order to sprout. Think about a seed that you plant outside. It's used to being covered with the dirt, and in that darkness, it's a cue for the seed to start its process of coming out of its shell. If it stays in the light, it's not going to activate that process so that the seed can be good until the conditions are right for it to actually sprout. So you want to have them good and watered. You want to keep them in an indirect sunspot or completely dark. Slip a koozie around them if you can do that. For like these larger jars, you can find these koozies that stretch like sweater material. This is what I slip around my larger jar. And if you don't have a koozie, then you can just put a towel around it. I recommend that you not cover the top because again, you're going to want airflow. Now, if you have feet like this, the air can still get in. Maybe you could drape something over there, maybe like a cheesecloth or something like that. But I'd recommend just blocking out the sides, if at all. I've made these sprouts plenty of times where I didn't have the feet on my lid and I didn't even cover the jar. I just left them sitting out of the sunlight on my kitchen counter so that I could see them and remember to take care of them. And they grew just fine. They were delicious. They were wonderful. They were abundant. You're going to be amazed how many beautiful greens you are going to get from these teeny tiny little seeds. It's amazing, y'all. You really have to try this. Try it. Don't let yourself not do this. It's so simple, so delicious, so healthy, so fun to do. So let them soak 8 to 12 hours. Pour off the water. Just let them chill out. About 12 hours later, give them the first rinse. Make sure you pour off all the water, set them to the side. About 12 hours later, do it again. Now, do you have to watch the clock and do it every 12 hours? Absolutely not. What I typically do is drain my seeds off in the evening. Then in the morning, whenever I wake up, I give them a rinse, pour it off, let them sit throughout the day. And in the evening before I go to bed, I do it a second time. If you find that they need more than that, like as they start to grow, if you see a little bit of fuzziness, then make sure that you give them a rinse. Don't just discard them. A lot of that will just rinse right off. But if you stay consistent and that kind of 12 hour, like 8 a.m., 8 p.m. rinsing, it's probably going to be ample. If you have more heat and humidity in the air, you might find that you want to rinse them a couple more times a day, like maybe 3 or 4 times times throughout the day. Just keep a watch on them, check them throughout the day. If you find that you need to do it more than twice, then go ahead and give them that extra attention. Otherwise, twice a day should be fine. Again, after 2-3 days, you're going to see sprouts. After about 3, 4, 5 days, you're going to have enough that you can start picking off the top and actually starting to consume them, use them into meals. Usually between 6 and 10 days, they're going to be fully mature. You'll know that after you do this a time or two, you'll get a sense for where they're at. When they are ready to eat, they should be about 2 to 3 inches long. And once you see them kind of hit that point and not really produce more, then you can take them and sit them in the refrigerator. I will say that you want to put them in a closed container whenever you put them in the fridge. And we like to line our containers with paper towel so we can pull off the extra moisture. Once they go into the fridge, you don't have to rinse them daily. They will be totally fine in there. I have tried just sticking the jar in there without, with this little holy lid on there, and I will tell you, it did not turn out well. I have tried to do it where it was only closed up and it did not turn out well either. So I highly recommend that when you put them in a container, you put it in an airtight container and use a paper towel to soak up that extra moisture. It'll help to keep some humidity in the container so that the plants stay in a really good condition, but it won't make them too wet where they just turn into soggy mush or turn moldy or something like that a little bit too quick. And they will also stop them from getting dried out completely, in which they just kind of evaporate and disappear. Now, in the end, this is what they should look like. And here's a couple of ideas on how you can use them in meals. Like I said, I throw them on top of everything that I make. If I have a pasta dish, I throw them on top. If I have soup, I throw them on top. If we made nachos for dinner, I'm throwing some sprouts on top. You can just add them into anything, and a little bit packs such a powerful nutrient punch. They're also a lot of fun for kids. My daughter loves them. She doesn't like the spicier ones like the radish, but the red clover, the sunflower, the mung bean, the alfalfa, she loves all of those, and she will eat it just straight how they are, like a little side salad with dinner or for a snack. Sometimes I'll grab some and put them on a dish with a few nuts, and then I have some nuts and some greens as a snack, and it's really, really great. You're hitting off so many nutritional checkpoints, and it just feels good to make something, to grow something. If you don't know the feeling that comes with producing your own food, this is a great way to get started. If you have any questions, or if you have any tips on how you have found sprout growing to be more easy, more efficient, more consistent results, definitely drop them in the comments below, along with any questions that you might have on this process. Like I said, soak the seeds for 8 to 12 hours, then rinse them twice a day for about 6 days, and you'll have beautiful, amazing, tasty, delicious sprouts to enjoy for yourself and for your family. If you have additional insights to share around the creative waiting period or around growing your own sprouts, be sure to share your thoughts in the comments below so that we can all learn from you as well. And if you take on this simple process of creating homegrown sprouts, I want to know about that. And the next time that you find yourself feeling worried about the end result, or feeling like you should have what you desire to create already, check in with yourself and see if you can relax into the waiting period. I'd also like to know what you would like to see me create or discuss around the creation process. What would you like more insights around, or what questions come up for you around the creation process? Definitely share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching and sharing this video with others. If you found value in what I shared, then give this video a thumbs up, and be sure to hit the subscribe button wherever you are viewing this. Turn on the notifications so that you know every time that a new video drops. Your help in supporting this channel really means a lot to me. And if you haven't done so already, then I invite you to check out the community that I'm building over on Patreon. You can check that out at the link below, where I'm guiding you throughout the year on how to discover and live more fully into your purpose, how to create a life that's aligned with your purpose, and how to do it all in a way that's a service to others. So if you're interested in plugging into that conversation and support, then hop over to bit.ly Holistic Support for more details. And either way, I look forward to seeing you again next week with another creation process video and tutorial walking you through the creative process. Bye.